Our top story now, the culpable homicide case against Duduzane Zuma continues in the Randburg Magistrate's Court this morning. Yesterday, prosecutors withdrew one charge against him. The former president's son pleaded not guilty but admitted to losing control of his car during an accident. Well, Malungelo Booi has been following that story for us in court. He joins us live from outside court this morning. Malu, a very good morning to you. So just bring us up to speed on what happened. One of those charges being withdrawn. Just tell us a bit more about that. What was the basis for that?
That's right. When Duduzane Zuma arrived here in court yesterday, Yuveka, he was facing 3 charges, 2 of culpable homicide and 1 of negligent driving. When he was inside court, when the proceedings started, well, the state withdrew 1 charge of culpable homicide. That's in relation to Janet Mashaba. That's the woman, Yuveka, who died a few weeks later after that accident. The state saying that after consulting with a pathologist that had examined Mashaba, they came to a decision to withdraw that charge, saying that they could not actually link her death to that accident, saying that also she had a pre-existing condition.
So Duduzane Zuma also pleading not guilty, Malu, but admitting to losing control of his car. What? Just expand on that for us. What was his explanation?
That's right. In fact, he read out, it was an affidavit, Yuveka, that was read out by his lawyer, where Duduzane Zuma has maintained, though, that he's innocent, pleading not guilty in this case, but also conceding, Yuveka, that actually he lost control of his vehicle, blaming the weather conditions. Remember, on that day, which was in February 2014, he said that it was raining and it was at night, and he hit a puddle, and that puddle led him to losing the control of his vehicle. And that's something that he has maintained right through, and that's something that also his defense is pushing towards, saying that really if Duduzane Zuma had not hit that puddle of water and lost control of his vehicle, this incident would have not happened.
All right, well, let's talk about what others have had to say, the witnesses, Malu. I mean, we heard from one of them being a passenger in that taxi. We know that the state calling 4 witnesses, including the driver of that taxi as well. So what did come out from witnesses yesterday?
Well, yesterday we've heard from at least 4 state witnesses. Yuveka, you're right. The taxi driver of that of that vehicle, and also the passenger who was inside that taxi, were some of the witnesses that took to the stand yesterday. Let's perhaps start with what the taxi driver had said, Vusi Dlamini. He actually said because it was raining, he had to lower his speed between 90 kilometers per hour and 100. And he said that one of his passengers in the taxi had told him to be aware of a vehicle that was approaching them. And he said when he started to look, the vehicle had already hit his car. He then said the driver of that vehicle came to him and told him that he had lost control of the vehicle. But the testimony that was also interesting was that of a passenger, the 73-year-old woman whose friend also died a few weeks later in a hospital. She actually said that, Yuveka, she had seen Duduzane Zuma's car speeding prior to this incident, spinning off the road and then back, and she actually was adamant that that vehicle was speeding. But it was interesting listening to Dikane's cross-examination by the defense, where she actually became very irritated and at times refusing to answer directly some of the questions that were actually being posed to her by the defense, obviously telling the defense that it was actually very difficult for her at that time. Remember, she's also the person that had to close the eyes of Phumzile Dube, the woman who died at the scene of this crash.
Okay.